I mean, there's always a bit of me in the characters, I think. One is Telly in The Puppet Wrangler. So, and what's interesting is I didn't in any way think of her like myself. When I thought I had this idea for a story, and then I conceived this character out of thin air, I thought. And when the book came out and was published, my older brother called me and said, "This reminds me of what happened to you when you were 12." So Telly in the book gets sent away to stay with this this aunt who works in the television business, and she really doesn't want to have anything to do with her. She's kind of stuck with this kid, right? What I never thought of at all until that moment was that when I was 12, I got sent away to stay with a relative who didn't want me. And it wasn't because my sister stole a bus. Really? No, really. Though she could have, Lord knows. No, she wasn't like that at all. But my mother was from Winnipeg, and we lived in Halifax, and I think it was really just she thought I should get to know her mother. And I don't know if my mother ever okayed it with Gaggy that I was coming for the summer. But anyway, I spent the summer with this really scary old English lady who wanted to have nothing to do with me. And I think that was really the beginning of the period in my life when I was thinking, there might be something the matter with me. You know, I mean, I think everybody else thinks of their grandmother as this nice, soft, loving, you know, adoring person. And my grandmother was, you know, children are to be seen and not heard. She decided I was too skinny, and, you know, here I'm in this sweltering Winnipeg summer, and I would have a bowl of porridge, and, you know, and there was butter for her and margarine for me. I mean, it wasn't quite Dickens, but you know, so, and interestingly enough, I think it's interesting enough anyway, in the book, I have, you know, a bad character in the book, and the bad character lives in this village, and I had to come up with a name for the village. And the name that popped up was Bousfield, which just so happens to be my grandmother's last name. So you know, so there's obviously a lot of me in it, and you know, so here's this 12-year-old having to suddenly in this kind of hostile environment and having to kind of make her way through it. Then the other character that's like me, I would say, is Betsy Wickwire, and she's an idealized version of my high school self, I guess. But I had just started to write this book, and I had this idea that I thought would be kind of fun, these girls who have a cleaning service. And that idea just came to me because I was looking for a cleaning lady myself and realized how much they were paid now, and I suggested to my own teenage daughters that they, you know, instead of working at Tim Hortons, why don't they start a cleaning service? And they were like, you want me to clean someone's house, you know? So anyways, it was just supposed to be a fun idea, but around that time, Not Suitable for Family Viewing had come out. Someone emailed me from high school because they'd heard about it. They'd seen something in the paper about it and said, "Oh, you know, Vicki, I saw this. I saw your writing, and this doesn't surprise me at all because you were always so confident and outgoing." And I looked at this email and I'm like, you know, I was shocked, like, because confident is the last thing, that the very last word I would use to describe my high school self. And in fact, when I think of high school, I think of embarrassment or looming embarrassment. Like everything I did, you know, there was the capacity for humiliation in anything I did. But then when I thought about it, I realized, well, if this is someone who didn't know me very well, and you know, if I thought of what I did in high school, if she just saw me goofing around in the halls, which is what I did, and in the classrooms, I could see how she would think of that. So, think I was like that. So that changed what Betsy Wickwire became. It became about a girl who has this outside persona, and then loses all the things that makes that possible for her. So loses the boyfriend, loses the best friend, loses a parent, feels that she's lost her popularity, and so her having to come to terms with who she is inside.